Hey everybody, Stacy here. Welcome to Pageantry Now. I have on Miss Grand Texas. She is getting ready to leave for Miss Grand United States of America. So stick with us right here on Pageantry Now. Hey everybody, Stacy, your host of Pageantry Now, and welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you. Today we've got on Miss Grand Texas, who is going to be competing for Miss Grand United States of America in just 10 days-ish. Juanita Maldonado is going to come on. She's going to talk about what she's been doing with her title, why she does this crazy thing called pageantry, and what she's getting ready to go do and change the world. But before we do that, just want to remind everybody what About Pageantry Now is about. Where positivity pageantry, highlighting the amazing things that title holders are doing using a crown and a sash. We need you to be able to participate. So ask questions in the comments. We will pop them up. Make sure you keep them PC because we want to make sure that the teenagers that watch have appropriate information. So with that being said, let's get going. Here we go. Hey.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. How are you?
Excited to have you too. Oh my gosh, it's been how many weeks? It's been a couple of months. You were crowned when?
November, so yeah, it's been quite a while. Yes, that's when you first interviewed me. I think it was a week after I had won or something like that.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy that it just seems like it blinks like this and then it's gone and you're like, hello. So, oh my gosh. All right. So Ralph says hi. Hello, Ralph. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. All right. So we can be familiarized. Please introduce yourself and tell us your name, your title, and where you're from.
So, hi everyone. I am Juanita Maldonado, Miss Grand Texas 2022. I am from a small town at the very, very tip of South Texas called Westaco, Texas.
And it's going to take you forever to get out of Texas.
Trust me, we were talking about this earlier. We're talking about Texas time, and 2-3 hours is nothing for us compared to how long it takes to get out of Texas.
Exactly. I know, I have traveled all over Texas, but just being able to go across from east to west, it's 12 and a half hours. And then north and south, it's about the same. So yeah, it's a bit. I mean, if you're driving the car, obviously some people have airplanes, so they can do that faster. But the closest major airport has got to be a bit away from you as well. So
yeah, so the closest one that I would have to say, and we always have to get this connecting flight, which is out of Houston. So it's either Houston, Dallas, or there's, I believe, in one in Austin as well, but it's always Houston or Dallas. Dallas is 8 hours from where I'm from, and Houston's about 5.5, 6 roughly. So we take the Houston one.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So you are traveling to where for Miss Grand United States of America? Where are you going to?
So I'm actually traveling to the beautiful state of Illinois. I'm very excited for that. I have never been to Illinois.
I was just going to say, have you ever been there?
Never ever. So I will take recommendations of where I should visit, where I should go, the type of food I should eat, because I've heard there's some really, really great dishes there. And I'm excited. I know it's going to sound kind of funny, but I'm excited to visit the bean, the wonderful bean that everyone talks about.
I like it too. And I have been to Chicago. So that's but you got to take lots of pictures. I mean, so Illinois is amazing, Nancy says. Nancy's a Texas girl too. So she is Mrs. Petite United USA. Oh gosh, I know you're gonna be so mad at me. Sorry, Nancy. Again, my friends are my pageant friends. I wish they were anyways. But okay, so if you're going to Chicago, I would say definitely the bean. She says
it's the bean. Yes, I've heard
you used to live in Chicago. Oh, so see, I want Chicago deep dish pizza. I got it right. Yeah, okay, I did get it right.
Keep sending the recommendations, please.
Yes. Yeah, deep dish. Have you ever had deep dish pizza? Deep dish pizza?
No, I have not.
Okay, it's like this thick.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And then it's like pie. So it's like pie with pizza. If you like pizza, it is definitely an experience. So just like everyone says, you got to try New York pizza. If you go to Chicago, you've got to try deep dish pizza. So And then Nancy says you got to catch a baseball game. So there you go. Well, Nancy's going to be like, Nancy, find Juanita on Facebook or Instagram, because you can give her ideas on what she can look forward to.
Please, Nancy, I need a list of everything that I should do while I'm there.
And the Sears Tower, yes, of course, because you've got it. What's like, so because you're just from a small town, so have you, like, what's the tallest building you've ever been in?
I actually, well, right now that I'm reading her description, the glass box over the city. So I traveled to New York, and New York has something similar, the Edge. So I kind of have that experience already.
Sears is high. Sears Tower is higher than New York or Rockefeller, so like than the Empire State Building. So it's kind of weird because there's a chance for you to like tip forward, so you can. It's a little bit scary.
Of height, so it takes a lot for me to just be able to stand anywhere with glass.
When I was in Rockefeller Center at the top of the Rock in New York, I was like, nope, there's wires around for a reason. I'll just stay right here, take a picture. You've never had deep dish pizza, Ralph? You've got to try it. Oh, I love it. It's good. Yeah. Okay, there you go. All right. So before we talk about food,
I know we're getting hungry here.
Let's talk about the areas of competition that you will be part of in just a couple of weeks, because it's how many days? How far is it?
So it's on the 23rd. Finals night is the 23rd.
Wow. Okay. All right. So tell us what areas you will be competing in.
So for the grand system here in the United States, we have interview. We also have evening gowns, swimwear, onstage question, and my favorite, a speech on. They give us a topic. Usually at internationals, it's a speech about stopping the war and violence. So we have about, I want to say 45 seconds to a minute to develop the speech, to get to talk to people about things that are important to us and stopping the war and violence itself.
Okay, well, that of course brings up a question. I don't know, and I don't know how you feel about that, but there's some very interesting things happening in Texas right now. Will your speech revolve around that, or do you have something else that you've been working on?
So I think I cannot give clues away. I'm not going to say.
I know, but
but I can say it will touch the subject of stopping the war and violence. That's all I can say. So tune into the pageant to see what I will be talking about. It's a cause that's near and dear to my heart. There's so much thought, so much emphasis going into it. So I think Texas is going through a very difficult time with everything that's happening, not just the mass shooting that unfortunately recently happened, but we have other things going on. So my speech, we will see what it shall be about.
And not to throw you under the bus, but I'm like, come on, tell me.
I can't tell you yet. It's a surprise. Stay tuned.
So we'll have to watch the pageant to find out. But that's, I mean, and I ask you because I know, like, being a Texan previously myself, like, I know that the events that are unfolding, and it hasn't just been, I mean, obviously with Uvalde is a very emotional situation, and it's affecting the entire nation. It seems to be having more breadth now, where it's this particular incident is really being effective right now. So I think that's really important. But there's been a lot that's been happening, like in Texas, just in general, in the last several years, between multiple hurricanes and flooding, and obviously the pandemic has been very serious. So there's a lot that just in a natural form of things that are going on. And I think that one of the things that I love about Texans is that they tend to come together and really work on community and really work on being great people. So how does that feel for you, being a Texan and then representing your state? Because I think that's fantastic.
So right now that you said everything about the past events that we've been through, every situation, it just gives me this sense of pride to be able to put Texas on the map, to wear Texas across my chest. I think this is a time where we as Texans need to be united, stick together, and show people that Texas is more than, we have our positives and our negatives. Texas is more than just about negativity. We have so many amazing things. Like you said, Texas means friendship state. So we're actually the friendship state. We're very friendly. We come together. For instance, we have several mass casualties. We have several hurricanes and everything that's happened, but it's kind of far from where we live. So I know recently with the situation that happened in Uvalde, we actually deployed several service members to Uvalde to be able to help. And that says a lot because we're about a 4.5 hour drive from where that incident happened. So the fact that we're just able to help each other, regardless of how long the drive is, regardless of how far away we are. And sometimes we might not have a lot to offer, but just being there, willing to help a hand says a lot about us Texans. And just I am very proud to wear Texas across my chest. Everywhere I go, people ask me, where are you from? And I proudly say with a smile on my face, Texas, because it's so amazing to be part of such an amazing culture, especially here in the Rio Grande Valley. We're predominantly Mexican American. And as Hispanics, we love that culture of family, being united, helping each other out. And that's something that I take with me everywhere. So just, I don't have the words to express how proud and how happy I am to be able to say Texas to the entire United States in a couple of weeks.
You say it every time. I mean, honestly, I mean, I say that I was Texan so often. My stepson thinks I was born in Texas. I was like, no, I was born in Michigan. And I mean, that's the only state in the union where you go, yeah, I'm proud to be a Texan. You don't walk around going, I'm proud to be a Michigander.
It just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Nothing against being from Michigan. I'm a Floridian now. I get it, but it's like not the same. It's not the same.
No, it's not the same. It's just that Texas feeling has a different feeling to it.
Hi, Marcelo. I love you. Thank you. That's your lovely, fantastic, amazing director.
Hi. Yes, I agree. She does look beautiful. I was actually telling her earlier.
Oh, thank you, Anita. Thank you. 56 years. I turned 56 last Wednesday. So, wow.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nancy wants to know, where can we watch the pageant live online? Or is there a place that we can watch the pageant live online?
So I know they haven't told us yet where we can catch it. I'm pretty sure Marcelo could probably help me with that if he knows anything that I don't know. But it was streamed usually through the Facebook platform, Facebook Live. So just keep an eye on that. We will definitely be asking, and we'll be posting it on our social media so that anyone who's interested in watching can definitely watch it.
And then that will be at Miss Grand Texas on Instagram. And then, now Fatima's on. So all of a sudden I see Pageantry Now pop up. Hi. I'm like, hi. And then I realize it's Fatima. So Fatima is watching too. It will be live streamed, Marcelo says. And will it be live streamed on their YouTube channel?
I believe so. Marcelo.
Okay, you will have more information on that. Okay, so there you go.
Yes.
Oh, all right. So keep us posted. So, all right. So I know I've asked you the frog question before, but would you like to tell us the answer? Do you like frogs? Why or why not?
We've been over this situation with frogs. I don't mind frogs as long as they stay away from me. I'm a very big animal lover. I think last time we spoke, I don't know if I told you this, but I have 8 dogs. And now that number has
popped. You did it. 8 dogs?
8 dogs. So we usually take in rescue dogs that people want to take to shelters or something, and we actually kind of take them in, embrace them. And now we weren't aware that one of our dogs wasn't neutered, so we now have 13 dogs because she had puppies.
Oh, wow.
We're looking for loving homes for them. But back to the frog question, you can tell how much I love animals with my 13 dogs. So I won't hurt them. I'm okay with them as long as they stay far away from me. And I don't think I would ever hurt one because I think we talked about this too. I always think of, this is probably going to sound kind of funny, but I'm like, what if they have a family to go back to? You just never know. So I'm just kind of like, no, the frogs are great. Just keep them at a distance.
It's the same way with like bugs. My friends are like, kill the cockroach. I'm like, no, they have a family. Like,
exactly. You don't know who's waiting for them back home, or what if they have babies?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even like I don't like I don't mind frogs, but I really don't like snakes. But even with a snake, I'll be like, okay, make it go away. My husband's like, it's not gonna hurt you, and I'm like, I don't care, but don't hurt it. Just make sure it's somebody else's yard so it can help the ecosystem somewhere else.
Exactly the same thing that I think of.
Oh, Juanita, you're doing a great job and as Miss Texas, Grand Texas, promoting yourself and keep up the excellent work. Fatima
says, thank you so much, Ms. Fatima. I appreciate it.
Yay. So, all right. So excuse me, we have asked you the hard question. So now the question is, why did you, I mean, we've talked about this too, but tell everybody why you got involved in pageantry and what keeps you going in it. Because that's the other thing too, is that just because you get involved with it, I don't think we don't always talk about why your passion continues, because it's not easy. This is really hard work, and it requires a whole, like I say, the thing was, it requires a village to raise a child, but it requires a village to raise a great title holder. So it's a process. So let's talk about your process and why you got started and what keeps you going in it.
Every time I talk about this, I get chills because I am so thankful to the people that have brought me to where I am today. Because, like you said, it takes a village. So, when I started pageants, I had no clue what pageants were. I started back in 2014. I've told you this story before, but for those who don't know, I started off as a soccer player, big time tomboy, running cross country, playing in the dirt, running barefoot across the street. That was my go-to, and I was very happy with it. It wasn't until my junior year of high school when my English teacher, my sophomore year English teacher, brought in another young lady and myself to the room, and she presented us with a flyer of Miss Wessico, which is our city pageant. And she kind of told us, you girls would be great for this pageant. You're very well spoken, you're beautiful, and I think you would do amazing. And I looked at her with a very confusing face, like, are you referring to me? Because next to me was this beautiful girl. I'm like, you're not confused, are you? And she said, no, you should give it a try. And I kind of, I was taken aback by it because there was no comparison, me being a tomboy running around everywhere. So I kind of told her, you know what, let me kind of go back and talk to my mom about it. So growing up, we do come from a low income family. It was very difficult for us. My mom's always had to work 2 jobs to maintain us and to help us achieve what we want. So that's the conversation that I had to sit down with her and talk to her about, because we know pageants aren't cheap. They're very expensive. So I kind of sat down to her and I told her, look, Mom, this is something that was presented to me. What do you think? Do you think it's in our budget? Do you think we can do it? And she said, if you want to do it, then let's do it. So she picked up double shifts to be able to buy my dress for me. And I still have that dress. I'm not getting rid of it.
Oh, wow. That's so sweet.
And I felt like Cinderella. It was a Cinderella color. It was a sweetheart neckline. It was just very flowy. So I was happy with it at that time. It was like, my mom bought it, so that's all that matters. And she loved it. So I said yes to my teacher. I didn't have any coaching, didn't have any experience. So I started watching YouTube, and I learned off of Miss Universe. I remember it was Olivia Culpo. I remember watching that year of Miss Universe. And I said, okay, let's see this. Let's kind of learn about it. And sure enough, when I went to compete at Miss Wessico, I believe there was roughly around 19 of us. I placed in the top 5. And I beat girls that had experience and everything. So I was over the moon delighted just being there. And it was very, very fun. And from there on, I said, this is for me. This is what I want to do. And I've been doing it since then. And after a year or so of doing it, I came up with a team that I now have, Miss Carla Monge. She's my instructor, my modeling instructor. She helps me with community service. She gives me life advice. She helps me with interviews. So she's the all-around package because she's been in the pageant industry for several years. She's been from a state title holder to national title holder to international. She's trained with some of the best people in the industry. Walking-wise, she's trained with an instructor that trained former Miss Universe, Zuleika Rivera. So I'm very, very thankful and grateful to her. And then her mom is actually a designer. She owns Regina's Couture. So they make the perfect duo. Yeah, so a lot of my wardrobe.
Oh, that is so great.
Yeah, my wardrobe was actually designed by her. So they make a very great team. They see what's best fit for me. Those are the people that, have helped me a lot in the pageant industry and get to where I am today. And of course, now leading up to nationals, I have my director who's been very on top of things, Mr. Marcelo, and he's going to get mad at me because I called him Mr., but it's out of respect. Mr. Marcelo's been great.
It's a Texas thing, and he should know that.
Exactly. He's been great with, making sure we have everything on top of things, the 1,000,001 questions that I ask them. He's making sure that we answer them. He's just on top of things. And that's a great team that I have and that I'm very, very thankful for. And our sponsors too, our Texas sponsors, for example, Cassidy Klein, she's been great on helping me with this journey from my official photo shoot to the day I was crowned. She actually styled me JJ Smith. I actually had a
I
conversation.
love
Sat down.
JJ.
He's awesome. He's fabulous. I love everything about him. I sat down and had a conversation with him, so he's been very grateful. I know we have a couple of sessions coming up with several of our other sponsors, so it takes a village to be able to do
Did
this.
you see? Mr. Marcelo's Ugh, stop with the mister. I'll take the crown back.
You gotta take it back. It's mine now.
Gotta go all the way down there to get it, Mr. Marcelo.
That's a long drive for you, so I don't see that happening. But you're right. It does take a special team to be able to do this and mold you into the title holder that you want to be. Because I could say this, that if I was on my own, I probably wouldn't have accomplished half of the things that I've accomplished today. And I'm very thankful and grateful for those people that have helped me along the way. If I haven't mentioned your name, but you've helped me a little bit, trust me, it means the world to me, because from every person I've learned a little bit, and I've molded it, and they've molded me and helped me become the pageant title holder that I am today.
Creating great humans using a crown and a sash.
You're right.
So, that is awesome. All right. So Nancy says, shout out to Miss Mary. I know Mary is one of the petite sisters. She's on. She comes. I didn't say hi, but hi, Mary. And then Fatima asks the hard question: what platform would you use to stop the war and violence?
Platform as in my platform, or platform as in like
I would say probably like let's talk about your platform personally, and then will that weave into that, because that's the other thing too, is that the system itself has the stop a war on violence, but also, how does that in any way shape inside of your platform as well? And then while you're formulating that, Ralph says good luck, and that you will.
Oh, that's awesome.
Your friend's competing in Maine from representing Maine. Okay, cool. And then Fatima, he says hi to Fatima. Okay, so there you go.
So exciting. Right. So back to the question is, my platform is actually empowering mindsets. My primary aim with this platform is to empower others to be the best version of themselves. So this originated back when I was visiting schools. I was often invited to go speak at schools, talk about my experiences bowling, about overcoming several difficulties in my life, and where I am today, and how I didn't let that stop me. So I would go to elementary schools, and I would have very young children between, I want to say, roughly the ages of 7, 8. They would come up to me and they would tell me, Miss, I'm going through the same thing, but if you can overcome it, then I can too. And when I started realizing that at least one of these kids would come up to me after every time that I would go speak, it kind of started clicking in me that the more stories we could share, the more lives we could impact in a positive manner. So that's when empowering mindsets came to fruition. And unfortunately, COVID put a halt on my elementary schools and middle schools and high school visiting. So that's when I reached out to social media, because during the pandemic, we can admit that social media became a huge platform. It became bigger than it was before. So yes, I started reaching out to people from all over that I could think of. And now I have people from all around Texas, all around the United States. I know I'm going to share also Miss Global Thailand story. So they all come and share their stories. And this is where it ties into stopping the war and violence. So a lot of the stories that are being shared about are about people overcoming bullying, overcoming domestic violence, overcoming mental health, overcoming so many different things. And that's where war and violence falls into, because it's not just about gun violence. It's about stopping feminicides, domestic violence, domestic abuse, sexual assault. There's so much that falls into that. So that's where our platform ties in. People start sharing their stories, and they start sharing that these stories don't define them. Some of these people become doctors, teachers, professionals. They're professionals in their career field. So if they start sharing that inspiration of hope with others, and that it can be stopped if you seek the right help, if you speak up and you're not afraid to stay silent. So that's where it ties in perfectly with stopping the war and violence, because I'm showing people that there is hope out there, that we can put a stop to war and violence with just these people sharing their story.
Right. Amen. And honestly, I don't know if we talked about it, but I got into pageantry because of domestic violence. My dad attacked me when I was 16, and I had to have reconstructive surgery, put my face back together. And my mom put me in a pageant 3 months after the surgery to help raise my self-esteem. And so, I didn't talk about that for the longest part of my pageant career. Like, even though that was the basis for my pageant career, I always talked about being a cancer survivor and then being a heart disease survivor and those types of things. But the more, and I think partially because we are being more open with it in social media and being able to share our deeper stories, because I think that violence in general is really kind of overlooked, and I don't think that we give enough credit, and in many cases, because especially with domestic violence, and then, I mean, with the pandemic, with things becoming so, people not having opportunities to be able to talk and to have normal interactions like they have to, and being forced, I mean, not that being forced on the internet is bad, but it changes how we interact as humans too. So by not having face-to-face opportunities where you're physically with somebody, it changes something in your brain. So there's been all of these things that have been happening over the course of the last 2.5 years, where we've had to adapt emotionally, and I think it's allowed us to kind of pull back that curtain of, we don't talk about that. Does
Yes.
that make sense? That was a really long answer for that, but
And you're very right about it, because people have actually told me, they've never opened up about it or anything, but I think I was targeting people during the pandemic, and I think it was making them realize, like, hey, it's now or never when I can share my story. And a lot of them would tell me, I've never ever shared my story before. This is the first time that I do it. And the fact that they trusted me, my platform, to be able to do that says a lot. I've had people reach out wanting to share their stories because they feel empowered by other stories that I've shared on there. So you're absolutely right. The pandemic is kind of, it put a wall up on us, but then it also made us realize, like, hey, it's now or never that we have to do things, because we never know when the next moment will be.
right. No, so true. And I think I mean, obviously it's changed the world, but I think it's changed us as humans, because we've had to become more aware, more sensitive, more communicative in a way that we are used to communicating in this little space here, and then all of a sudden, bam, even though the internet's been around for years, this whole thing made us have to reach out and be able to expand ourselves in a way and become creative too. Because, like, let's face it, as title holders trying to make appearances in the midst of all of this, that's been a whole nother experience too. It's like, you, with your experiences, like with mine, being in front of a group of kids and being able to share your story and motivate them, became, wait, we can't be around them, so how are we going to do this? But then it went from this little teeny tiny space that we've been talking to just like, I can talk to somebody in New Zealand about this right now, let's do it.
Exactly. You're so right. It expanded in such a beautiful way, and we can reach people from across the world that we never thought we would be able to speak to.
Yeah. All right. So Fatima with the hard questions today. Okay, she said, this isn't hard. What's been your favorite experience in pageantry so far?
So an experience that's very near and dear to my heart, and I'm very thankful for this experience. So like I mentioned earlier, growing up, we never really had the funds to travel. It was never in my dreams. It was always like, well, we can't travel, we can't afford it. It was kind of one of those things where I was taken aback because I wanted to experience so many things. For instance, I always would see Disney World, Disneyland on television, and to me, it was a dream. Any place that I would see outside of where I lived, I didn't think it was real, because I had never been exposed to it. I was just so stuck on my culture, so stuck in where I lived. So I remember when I competed for Miss Texas Belleza Latina, we traveled to Austin. I won that title. And then after that, we had to travel to Florida for Miss Belleza Latina International. And the cards just aligned where we ended up driving. And even up to North Texas, I had never been to North Texas. So as I'm going up to North Texas, you see all the greenery, the beautiful scenery. I couldn't believe that it was true. So once I get to Florida, I'm like, this is a whole different world out here. So mind you, I compete. I win the title of Miss Belleza Latina International. That was on the icing on the cake. But after that, we went to Disney World. And as soon as I got to Disney World, as soon as I saw that castle, I started crying, because I was so grateful to be, and right now I'm getting teary-eyed, but I was just so grateful to be there. I was already on the older side. I want to say I was 20 to 22, but I was so grateful, so thankful to God and to all the people that helped me be where I was at, because it was actually my pageant coach who drove me to Florida, who was there the
Aw.
entire week with the experience. Yeah, so I consider them family, because just the fact that I was able to witness that, I was able to live that because of them. And that's something that always sticks to me because of pageantry. Because of pageantry, it happened. And because of pageantry, I've been able to visit so many places. I've been to New York, I've been to Nevada, I've been to so many amazing places, Florida, and now I'm going to Illinois. So pageantry has a very soft spot in my heart, because it's amazing what this world can do for you and what pageantry can change your life into.
Amen. That is so true. I mean, because of pageantry, I've been to 42 states, which is
Wow.
like crazy to think that I have been. I mean, like if I lived in like Europe or in Africa or Asia, like it would be a whole lot easier to go to a different country. We
Yes,
can
commute.
stay here. And but like I mean and I just think of like the amazing people and the different cultures even that we have within our country that we're able to like go and experience that. And I just am always grateful for those opportunities to be able to go and do this. And I laugh sometimes because I say I've seen some amazing airports and some fantastic hotels, but I haven't been to the beans.
We need to make it a priority.
Well, because generally, like when I go to, like I go to judge or I go to an appearance or I go to speak or something, I go from the hotel like to directly or from the airport directly to a hotel. So that was like when we went to New York in February for New York Fashion Week, and I actually went and didn't tell anybody I was going, just so that we could like go do stuff, which was super super cool to have that go do a Broadway show, go hang out in Times Square, go do the things that you don't because pageantry is amazing, but you're always with people you don't usually get to sightsee, so it's important that and that moment at Disney World, I know that I actually started to almost cry because I haven't been in a while because of the pandemic, and I'm like, I'm going in July. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, how exciting. Take lots of pictures, upload them to social media so I can feel like I'm there.
But you're there. Well, my favorite was 2019 because I did Disney World. A week later, I went to Disneyland, and then a week later, I went to Miss Universe.
Oh my goodness, living the life.
Crazy. So I went cross country, like back and forth. So yeah, there you go. But there you go. So there you go. Fatima wants to know, where's your favorite place to travel?
So recently, it wasn't because of pageantry. It was more of because I wanted to take a birthday vacation. So I went to Hawaii, Honolulu to be exact. I
I'm so jealous.
It's beautiful. You have to go there. And a lot of people say it's expensive. It's expensive, but it's definitely worth experiencing it once in a lifetime, because it's just so beautiful. I consider it a different planet of its own. As funny as that's going to sound, but everything's just so different. The water is very clear. I cannot swim, but I was in the ocean the entire time. So it was just beautiful. We visited several historical places. There were so many forests within a walking distance. I actually tried to swim in a waterfall. It was just beautiful. People there are very welcoming. They're so nice. There's so many people from different walks of lives. It's absolutely beautiful. People just walking down the street. Their fruit is amazing. Very, very fresh. Their pineapple, because they have the Dole factories over
Yeah.
there.
It's like
So amazing.
oranges for Florida. It's pineapple is for Hawaii. So yeah.
Yes, it's so amazing. I didn't want to leave. I think we were there for almost a week. I didn't want to leave, and I said, whenever I'm done, I retire and everything, I would want to go live in Hawaii, because it's just magnificent. And I want to go back, visit different islands, because every island has its own essence, its own beauty to it. And I just want to say, you know what? I went to every island possible, because it's just that amazing.
It is one of the 8 that I have not been to.
You
And
need to.
I never wanted to go, and then recently I've just been like, you know what? I really want to go because maybe it was based on Moana, I don't know, but like realizing that each little island has its own, because all of the Polynesian islands have their own, Aboriginal people, and so they have their own flair to them, like you said, and they've got their own traditions and their own foods, and so I think that it would be really fantastic to be able to like go to a microcosm like that, just like going to the Philippines, where like every little island has its own different flair. But I think that that would be really phenomenal to be able to experience that in the different people. I love history. I like that's one of the reasons I like Texas so much, is because there's so much history, but there's so much diversity too. Because you can go to Dallas, which is totally a different feel than when you go to Austin, than when you go to San Antonio. So like, down where you guys are, like it's just it feels like a totally different feel. And Houston, so I mean, I guess it's like that wherever you go. Every city is different, but I think that it's so nice to be able to get to know those particular microcosms as they exist, because they have a totally different, experience than we do as humans. So,
Yes, it was just very different. I remember I was talking to someone from the island. They told me, they moved there several years. Now they live there, and they themselves were telling me it's very different from the mainland here. Here everyone's very friendly. Everyone, you can go outside the street and you won't know who works where they come from. It's just kind of, they're all treated equally as one. So that's the beauty of it. That's why I fell in love with it. And you need to make it a point to go out there and visit. Trust me.
All right. Fatima says, have you ever been the victim of racism or bullying, and how did you overcome it? Great question, Fati. Wow, Fati, are you like looking things up?
Those are great questions. Thank you. So, yes, I have. Growing up, I was bullied for several things. One of them was it ties into racism. One of them was because, and I come from a Mexican household. My parents are from Mexico. I was growing up. English is my second language. So I didn't know a word of English until about second grade or so. So when I was trying to speak to people here, they were often laughing at me because I couldn't pronounce words. I remember one time I was in class we were reading a book, and I could not say the word Arkansas. I pronounced it as Arkansas, and everyone in the room just bursted out laughing. And it's kind of a moment that stuck with me because, yeah, that moment was a pivotal point in me. And I said, you know what? No, we have to learn this. We have to learn this language for the betterment of ourselves, to have more opportunities, and just to, this is why your family came over here, to give you a better life. So from that moment on, I just kept being empowered. And then I was bullied because I used to have your braces, glasses. And then I remember sometimes all the time I would run cross country, and I don't get red. I get very, very, my skin gets very, very dark. So whenever they would turn off the lights in classes, they would be like, no, turn the lights back on. You can't see Juanita. So racism, racism and bullying have been a very big part of my life. I know one instance, we were in a high school classroom. They were taking an exam, and one of the teachers actually started pinpointing. She's like, you look like you would be in a movie. You look like you would be in a movie. And she skipped over me. And then I started to realize that all of the people that she was pointing to were light complected. So all of us that were a little bit darker complexion, she kind of just brushed us off. So it's kind of always been present. But when I was growing up, it was kind of something that bothered me. But now I embrace it. I'm not going to lie. When I first started being a victim of this bullying and racism, I was like, no, you know what? I wish I was a different skin tone. I was constant thoughts of that negativity. But then I started embracing who I was. I said, no, embrace who you are. Love who you are, because if you don't, no one else is going to do it for you. And now I'm very comfortable in the skin that I am. I'm very proud to say that I have family that comes from Mexico. I'm Mexicana, Hispana. So I'm just very proud of that. And now I just use those experiences to empower others and to tell them, you know what? Don't let those experiences define who you are, and don't let them eat you up. And opposed to that, just let them build you up.
You are a stunning human being. So, like, I'm surprised that it happens in the Valley, but I know it happens everywhere. Like, and obviously, like, again, it's been a critical time in our country's history, which we ebb and flow and go through this. But racism has become way more prevalent, or way more aware. Like, even though I'm not going to say that it wasn't there, because it clearly was. But now whether it's social media, whether it's the climate that we're going through right now, it's way more vocal, more. So we see it more, we hear it more. And I just find I'm always Fatima says you're not the only person that mispronounced Arkansas. I still call it Arkansas just because I'm like it's spelled that way.
Exactly. That's a debate that I'm willing to have with whoever named this state because it's spelled the exact same way.
What were they thinking? Like Kansas and Arkansas, they share a border. Why is one Kansas?
Exactly.
Okay.
But that's a debate that we need to find out.
Fatima, I know you're doing research because when she answered, I said, "Are you looking this up?" She goes, "Yep."
Yep. So look that up for us.
We'll find out what Arkansas is Arkansas and not Arkansas because let's face it. And for anybody that comes from across, I mean, anybody that comes from out of the United States, Ralph is laughing. But it's true.
True, yes.
And so, I mean, I know a lot of the states have either, I mean, because let's face it, like the Six Flags over Texas, there's been so many different countries that have had their flag in Texas. So you've got people that speak French, you have people that speak Spanish, you have people that are Mexican descent. Like the Confederacy was there. Like it's crazy that you think about what Texas has been, and still it is still the only state in the United States that should it secede from the United States, it becomes its own country. Fun fact. and where I lived in Texas, the kids still did the Pledge of Allegiance to the Texas flag. So I don't know, do they do it in the valley too?
So yes, for a very long time when I was in school, we did it for a while. But then after that, I think going into high school, it kind of started slowing down. We kind of didn't really do it anymore. But yes, there was an instance where we would do that.
It's traditions, man. So anyway, okay. Oh, you've had Isla Morada? Okay, well, it can be Isla Morada. I mean, like it depends if you're Hispanic, because like let's face it, if you're soy gringa, it's Isla Morada.
Yeah, so for us, it would be Isla Morada.
Isla Morada, exactly. And then I'm like, why is the island purple? Can someone please explain it to me? Because I don't understand.
That's how I would say it, Isla Morada, but then I don't know. Is that how you say it, Miss Fatima?
Well, again, like Isla Morada. I mean, like if you're like, it should be Isla Morada, but you know, yeah, it's not. It's Isla Morada. I mean, you know, that's from the gringa, so.
You're doing great.
Again, I live in Florida that was named because it was French and Spanish, so it was Florida, and then it was French, and then it's a thing here too. We're not nearly as exciting as Texas though. So.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, you got me to snort. Oh, that's bad. Okay, so all right. So what do you want? Like, what do you want to tell us that we don't know? Like, I know we've talked for 45 minutes, which is crazy. It goes so fast. What are your plans going? You're in pain from laughing so hard that you're rolling.
I'm glad we're making you laugh, Ralph.
Thanks, Ralph. We appreciate it. Oh boy, if you ever really want to laugh really hard, go back to the way backs of Pageantry Now on YouTube and you will laugh. If you can find the episode where because I used to shoot the episodes from my closet.
Oh,
and my husband got locked out of the house, and so I jumped up and I was in my pajama. So anyways, oh, but Flo Rida. Well, you know, that's why his name is Flo Rida.
Yeah.
Okay, so Flo Rida is from Miami, but he actually grew up on Florida Street. So that is why his name is Flo Rida.
What?
Yeah.
I am astonished. Yeah. I did not know that.
Did you not see? Like you see it and you go, what? And then the first time I saw it, I went, why is that guy there on the motorcycle? Because we lived on the street across from him, like the next street over. And I was like, what is with all of these people on these motorcycles and these SUVs? And they're like, oh, it's Flo Rida. And I was like, why is Flo Rida on Florida Street? And then everybody went,
hello.
How did I not ever notice that?
Flo Rida. You know what? It's not even Florida anymore. It's Flo Rida. There we go.
Flo Rida. There you go. See? Oh, baby. All right. So What are your plans when you win Miss Grand United States of America? Tell us, tell us.
Oh my goodness. You know what? This is a moment I've been envisioning for. It's been a journey, even just getting to Miss Grand Texas. I've been almost with the organization for 3 years. The first time I signed up, it was back in December of 2019, November, December of 2019. We were supposed to have the Texas pageant that March of 2020, but then that's when COVID hit. So it was pushed back, trying to find dates, and then one thing led
COVID?
to
What COVID? What's that?
COVID. I don't know what that is. I mean, you don't know. It's kind of it's become a
Pageant
regular
didn't
thing.
happen because of it? What are you talking about? Sorry.
Now you're fine. So yeah, no, because now it's kind of just the normal thing. We're going through it through life. But then when COVID hit, we kind of were waiting for dates to come up, and then one thing led to the next. COVID never went away, and we thought it was going to go. But then we did some virtual kind of basically we did an interview, and then we submitted some walking videos. The title wasn't for me at that time, and it went to an amazing title holder, Sydney. And I just, after that, I fell in love with the grant system. I had my mind set on it. So it's been 3 years that I put my heart and soul into this organization, because I think it's very important that we spread the message of stopping the war and violence, like I said earlier. So if I were to win Miss Grand United States, I would probably burst in tears, because only certain people know how much this title means to me, how much hard work and dedication I put into this, and promoting the system itself. So if I were to win, of course, have my moment, and then after that, go get some deep dish pizza. And then I would, of course, prepare for internationals. Excuse me. I would like to bring that second international title back. Previously, before that, it was Abina, and now I would want to have that as well, and have that honor to be able to represent the United States and bring that title back. So I would do everything to be able to bring that crown back. Of course, I would do everything like I've been doing so far to promote the grant system, get the word out there, try to do several workshops where I myself become educated in areas such as domestic violence, sexual assault, and everything, and implement it to my platform. Possibly go out to schools and start talking about that. But I don't want to start doing that just yet, because when I go, I want to be able to have that I have the correct information. And that's something that takes a while to become educated in. So I'm able to do that as Miss Grand United States. I'm more than happy to be able to do that. So I think it's just a matter of, if it's in God's plan, if it's in my destiny and my path, then I'll embrace it with open arms. But I just want to hit the ground running. I want to be able to represent the grant system and let others know, because as I'm doing these interviews, I'm realizing that a lot of pageant platforms that I've been interviewing with don't know what the grant system is or what it stands for.
I was just going to ask you right now, like, because the other question I have, can you continue your thought? But has there ever been a Hispanic Miss Grand? I don't think there has been. Has there?
So Miss Grand International or Miss Grand United States?
Miss Grand International.
Miss Grand International. If I'm not, yes, there was Clara Sosa and Maria Jose Loera.
Yes, you're right. Okay.
Yes,
Because
there
my brain was trying to catalog. I'm usually really good, but I'm not. So
no worries, but it would, having a Hispanic from the United States of America would be absolutely, I would be the first Hispanic to win the international title and bring it back to the US, in the US, of course. But it would just be a dream come true, because this is something that means so much to me. This is 3 years. It takes a lot to be with an organization for 3 years, and I've just been trying my best to get the word out there to help the system grow. Because even if I don't win, just knowing that other young ladies know about this system, knowing about a system that's working to make a change, I will be okay with it, because at the end of the day, that's my job as a title holder, to expand people's visions that there's different systems out there. And I want to be that person whenever I say, oh, the grad system, they're like, oh yeah, I know that system, because that's how, when you mention universe, when you mention earth, when you mention world, people automatically know what it is here in the United States. But when you mention grant, it's still kind of a system that people don't know too much about. And I want that to change, because the grant system is amazing. It's grand.
there you go. Well, Fatima's doing research. So 2013 was Puerto Rico. And I did not know this. I cannot believe that there is a grand from Cuba. That is really, really cool.
Yes.
From the director of Miss Cuba US. She's there. There she is. That's Fatima. Fatima just had her pageant on Sunday. So There you go. And she has a new Miss Grand US or Miss Grand, Miss Cuba US, and
Yes.
then a new Miss Cuba Earth. So that's cool.
Oh, how exciting!
And Erin said, "Yes, Queen." So there you go.
Hi,
And then Fatima with the questions. Oh my gosh.
Erin.
Okay, what are your favorite top 10 makeup products that you can't live without?
Okay, so my top 5 are Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow powder. I could not go anywhere without that Anastasia Beverly Hills brow definer. Excuse me, because I have very thin eyebrows, so I like to, as you can see, I like to kind of thicken them out. So that's one of the products that I could not live without. And also, you can actually use it as an eyeliner. Fun fact: if you run out of eyeliner, it's perfect eyeliner. So that's one. I
Okay.
also can't live without eyelashes. Oh my goodness, I love eyelashes. Right now, I don't have them on because my eyes are not, my contacts are not cooperating.
It's a process.
It's a process, yeah. So absolutely, my eyelashes too. Eyeliner is a very big thing for me. Also, I think it makes the look be a little bit pick me up. So eyeliner, and then of course I love the matte lipsticks. Anything matte, especially here in the Rio Grande Valley. It's always very windy, so you don't want to wear too much gloss because then it'll smear all over the place.
Oh yeah.
You get tired of it. And then my fifth one would be, a little bit of blush. Yes. So even when you're having a natural look,
And
just
blush can be on your eyes too. So there you go.
yes, you're right about that one. So just a little pick me up, or whenever you don't want to wear makeup or anything, just throw on a little bit of blush and it picks up the entire look.
Yeah. Ralph says he's the great episode, off to bed. Good night, sleep well. And then he hopes to meet you one day, Juanita. So there you go.
Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you for joining us.
So I know Earth Cuba, you're making fun of me, Fatima. I know Earth Cuba. She laughs at me.
Miss Earth Cuba. There you go.
Doesn't fit in my head. There's a Spanish saying that maybe it's Cuban saying, but the saying translated to English is it doesn't fit in my head.
Huh.
Que lone in mi cabeza or something like that. Like but it's like a people used to say it to me in Spanish to be like, "What are you saying?" And they're like, "It doesn't fit in your head." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't."
For us, we usually say, es que no se me queda en la cabeza, or yeah.
Yes, but isn't it like that translates to doesn't fit in your head, sort of,
Yeah,
right?
sort of, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. I'm like, oh gosh, no, I'm oh, the thing that was one of the things when I moved from Miami to Texas, it was like a switch, is because just like here, with English, there are different sayings that you can say that are things to say in that area. So like here they call socks medias in Miami. But when I moved to Texas, I'd be like, put on your medias, that's the medias. And they'd be like, what? And I'm like, and the moms would look at me, castetinas? And I'm like,
Yes.
sure.
So in Mexico, we medias or pantyhose. I believe that's how it translates.
Oh, really? See,
yes. Yes, that's what medias are, and calcetines or socks, calcetas as well. So yeah, you're right. And then sometimes we think some words are great in our language, but then you speak them in another area that speaks Spanish, and they're like,
I
no.
found that out the hard way too. There are certain words here that are totally acceptable to say for booty, not in Texas, in Mexico.
Yeah, so you have to be very careful.
Yep, that was a very educational experience. I guess that's like everywhere though, because like there are things that we say that are American English,
Yes.
that British English is totally different, and then you say it like they call cigarettes fags, and you say that here, you get in trouble. So it's like, okay. So anyways, all right, and now that's a whole hour of
our beautiful talks with several random topics.
And you know what though? But that's what makes it fun. Like honestly, I feel like people get to know you better when you're not feeling like there's anxiety and that I'm trying to, make it difficult for you to catch you on a question or, catch you saying something wrong. I really feel that the beauty of this is that we get to really have a conversation and get to know each other. And then when I see you, it's like, oh, you're my long lost friend that I talk to all the time on video. So, all right. So, what would you like to share with us that we have not talked about yet?
Oh my goodness, no, I just want to come on here and say thank you to everyone that's been they've been following my journey, very supportive. I'm very grateful, especially to Pageantry Now as well, because you guys were here during the beginning of my journey. And now you're going here with my road to nationals. And it's not just now. I know we've done several interviews throughout my pageant journey. So I just want to say thank you for that to everyone who's been supportive with the comments, with the pictures, with the awesome fan videos that are made, with the awesome collages that are put together by the different misólogo pages. I'm so grateful. Thank you to the people from Mexico, from Colombia, Venezuela, Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand. I have received so much love from them. And I'm just very grateful. I want to take the time to be able to express that because it just means a lot to me that so many people out there who don't even know me, have never met me, believe in the great state of Texas. And I'm just very grateful and thankful for that. So thank you so much for making this possible as well, Miss Stacy.
Oh, you're so, I love it. I love, that we get the opportunity to really have these moments because honestly, that's really, you get, if you're lucky during your reign, you'll get a 3-minute interview that's on your local news. If you're really, really lucky, you'll get a 1-minute interview that's on national news. Very, very often do you really get an opportunity to share your real story. So I am grateful that we get those moments to be able to do that and really get to know title holders. And so that people know, like when they do voting and I don't know, do you guys have voting for that go force? Yes. For like people's choice?
People's choice, yes, just people's choice.
Okay, so they need to know who they're voting for. So now take pictures, take snippets of this and then share it and go, here, this is me. You need to vote for me. So they know. So it's important. We are always grateful to have you on and to get to know you so much better. I mean, I know we've talked before and I mean, way before this title. So it's like history. Oh my gosh.
I know you have been part of a lot of my journey. So I'm just I have to say it, I'm very grateful because every time I come on here, I think it's always something new. You always learn something about me. I always learn something about you. So that's the beauty of pageantry too. We get to meet people, interact with them. And then once we see them in person, it's like, hey, I already know you. We've never met, but I know you.
Yeah, no, one of my pageant directors, the pageant was online. And so I'd gone, like, I talked to her kids on a daily basis as her title holder. And it wasn't until I was giving up my title that she had the pageant live. And I was like, the first time I met her, we went to Disney World. Like, we all met at Disney World. Like, we didn't know each other, but like, we knew each other because we talked all the time. And like, how great is it that we have this world that can be so expansive and yet so close and really get to form amazing relationships without physically being with somebody. And then when you get to know them, it's just like, yeah, that's great. Let's go do something. Go hang out. Go storm the castle. We got to come back to Florida. We'll go to Disney together.
Yes.
That'd be fun. So when you win, you can come hang out down here. We'll have to make sure you get a Florida.
That would be awesome. I'm gonna take your word on it. We're screenshotting this, screen recording this.
Okay. There you go. It will be done. I will be it will be my pleasure to host you and then have some fun. So that'd be cool. All right. Well, hold tight. Let me close out the show. How do we find you? How do we follow everything? I know I mentioned it earlier, but again, share it with us so that we know.
Of course, so on Instagram, be prepared for the road to nationals. Our finals night for Miss Grand United States will be June 23rd. It'll be on a Thursday as well. Time is still pending and online viewing is still pending. But once we have that, make sure you stay tuned to our Instagram page, Miss Grand Texas, or you can follow my personal page as well, Juanita Maldonado, or on Facebook, you can find us as Miss Grand Texas. And for anything following up to nationals, you can also follow the Miss Grand United States page, and they will be posting several amazing content. So make sure you stay tuned and follow all those 3 pages to stay connected.
Yay! And then when you win, you come back on.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
Not fingers crossed. Yes, you're coming back. I know. I have to ask your other grown up, your new grown up, whoever that is, that if it's okay to for you to come and play. But so
yes, speaking it into existence.
Exactly. All right, hold tight. Let me close out the show, and then we will wrap up. So
perfect.
Thanks, everybody, for a great show, for following along with us, being with us. Juanita, thank you for being my guest again. It is always a pleasure. It's been a great honor for us to be part of your journey. So thank you so much for trusting us with your story. And then for all of our crownies out there, if we didn't have you, we could have these great conversations, but it's so much better to be able to share them with all of you. Thanks so much, and we will see you guys soon. That's a wrap. Stay safe.